Alright, let's get started. Now when we first start, just have a look around. So for about the first, we're going to go for 20 cycles. So it's just how to set up your base for the first 20 cycles. Now for the first 10 cycles, you shouldn't need to produce any oxygen. The most important thing to build, believe it or not, is actually your outhouse. And you've got one cycle to build your outhouse. Tomorrow morning when they wake up, they'll want to use the toilet. If you don't have an outhouse, then you get your first mess that you have to clean up, and it all goes downhill from there. With that being said as well, you need to be careful. You normally start off with 3 pools of water on each seed. In this case, we've got 2 below and then 1 above. So what we're going to do here is we're going to clean out an area and prepare ourselves for as the base grows. So a couple of things that I want to look at is I want to look at oxygen generation, because I just want to use this oxylite and not dig into it as well. Have a look where the pools of water is, and when I'm building my ladders, I want to sort of stay and keep my distance away from here and not run the ladders directly inside the base. We've got plenty of algae, we've got certainly some copper, and we've got some coal and that as well, and that's all going to come in handy as well. So let's start digging. We're going to just clear some of the way, and you need to clear some of the area first. Now oxygen wise, we can see, pressing F1, that we get a little bit of carbon dioxide, and these are actually decent build up. So it's, the seed isn't the best seed, but I'm sure it will work out well in the end. It's a little bit of shame. I do like to drill all the way down. In this case, we're not going to be able to. Okay, so what you do have to be careful with is these bloody Dupes and how they'll dig themselves into trouble. Okay, let's start working on that bathroom. So this will be the ladder going up. As I said, it's not, for me, it's not the best seed to start off with. I like something sort of straight up and down, but it is what it is. I'll build that. So what I personally like is I like to go one either side of the ladder. That allows a couple of things. It allows, in my view, a better movement of the gases up and down that sort of path. What it also allows is later game you can add things like fire poles, tubes, and anything else you wish to. And with your bathroom, you might want to go one higher. The reason for that is once you expand your bathroom at a later date, your showers are a fraction higher. Now the ratio I use is sort of around 50-50, which means that I would have a sort of a bathroom or a toilet for every 2 Dupes. Okay, next thing we're going to start building is accommodation, so beds for them to come in. Remembering we've still got the oxygen and it's still working fine. Even though we've cut into this carbon dioxide, there's plenty of oxalite generating the oxygen here. Just wish this oxalite wasn't here. We do want to cut down straight down the middle here. So the first night they're just going to sleep out like that. We do have a loud sleeper. So what I've done is I've left actually 2 gaps between the beds. It's a couple of things. It means that I can put some decor in there to make the place a little bit more nicer. The second thing is when you have a loud sleeper like Hassan is, you're not going to keep it up. So Max is going to be a little bit stressed because he's not going to get any sleep. Good. Let's keep going through the next day. With your water, make sure you click on the water to do it as left. It will actually save on a little bit of fluids. Now there is no water in there at the moment because we need to tap into here, which is the next step. But we do have access to the toilet. We'll get the water in, and we'll have the beds, and we'll be right for step 2. Keep still checking on the oxygen. We have more than enough oxygen. First one, toilets. Second one, beds. Now let's get some water in there. Remember, at this stage we haven't done anything with the oxygen. We've got plenty of oxygen here, and everyone's happy. Happy-ish. Okay, by placing the doors on, once the doors are finalised, then they'll be classified as a room. Then having the room such as your wash or latrine, which is going to be the first one that we have, and then having your barracks, which is what they're building now, will give them an added morale boost. Alright, a little bit, missed it by 1. Someone's still without a bed, Max. Poor Max. Had the snorer last time. But Hassan's fine now. The loud sleeper. Oxygen is still okay. Yeah, Max isn't overly happy not having a bed, but he will get one next time. So we want the priority is getting this water. Once we've got the water, then we'll focus on starting to get some power. Okay, the other thing that we need to do is have a place where we're going to dump our polluted water. Not essential in the first sort of 5 cycles or so. Now we're just going to do all, which we find to start off with. But just keep in mind, because once you start getting into cold biomes, you're going to start having ice and polluted ice and so forth, and you actually don't want that to come inside your base. So there's your 2 rooms. So we now have our barracks, which is +1 morale, and we've got our latrine, which is the next morale there. We're just going to close that one off. It's not overly... Yeah, we don't need to. Not important. So for myself, I don't normally take the dupe as soon as it comes in. Some people do just take a 4th one. I find until I start getting food, I will not take the dupe. So this is where we're going to build temporarily battery and our research station. Let's hook those up. Okay, so recap. Day 3. Latrines. Beds. Now we've got our water source. And now we're starting to build our research. Now, whilst we're having someone doing the research, it means that you will be down 1 dupe. As I said before, I generally get my 4th dupe, 4th and 5th dupe, once I've started to put my first lot of food down, which we will soon. Alright, next day. Right, remembering, we're still just using the oxygen that's there. So we've done 4 cycles without adding any oxygen into the base whatsoever. Whoop. Have a look at that. That is a cold water steam geyser. There you go. Easy seed. No water problems. What I will do is show you as well. So that is the seed. If you wanted to, if you're watching this whilst I'm doing the tutorials, you could use this for the seed. As I said, I haven't not completely sold on it yet, but it does help you if you want to sort of do a step-by-step playthrough. Alright, research bench is up. Let's grab some research. Now for myself, the next priority I have is the food. So we're going to go with food and just quickly do that. The next ones that we have outside of the food, that's probably the first 2 is food. We don't have, where's our oxygen? Alright, going for food. Having a look at the temperatures. So F3, cool temperatures up here. We've also got the water source there, another water source there if we need to use it. Coming into, oh, there you go. And a natural gas geyser. Alright, so once again, for those that saw the seed before, we've got a cool water geyser here. And we've got a natural gas geyser here, which is perfect. We're going to throw our batteries down here. A lot of slime lung, but we can control the slime lung. As long as we can control it, but this is where we're going to put our batteries. And we will grow our plants and our vegetation up here. What we will start looking at is where we're going to start dumping the excess, and where we might dump it is over this side here. We don't have any slime lung over this side. Once we finish the piping and we go to, rather than outhouses, we go to actual proper latrines, we can have the fresh water coming up this way, and then we can have the wastewater going this way. Research-wise, we finished the first one. We're going to take another food. We're good on our food at the moment. 28 calories. We're struggling a little bit with just carbon dioxide down here, but where they're sleeping and everywhere else is fine. So I'm still not concerned about the oxygen levels. We will start looking at that probably after the next one. All right. Okay, so we're slowly starting to build this pit. This actually is quite large, and this is going to last us probably most of the time. We've designed this a little bit poorly. I mean, just by one level. It's not too much. They can jump up and down, but we could have done that a little bit neater as we do the second lot of research. Now, we've also built the oxygen diffuser. We're not using the oxygen diffuser. But we are going to use the algae terranium. So this is catching the carbon dioxide. As the carbon dioxide builds up down here, the terranium should knock away okay, so you can see that we've finished all our oxylite now. Copy our settings. So what you'll find now that we're starting to just get to the outside of our base, we're starting to get different types of, we materials. In this case here, our basic dupes can't cut into it, so we need to start looking at jobs. It's almost finished there. Got a good little area. Oxygen is starting to get a little bit weaker now. So, but this is about the base. This is basically the size of the base. We're not going to need to grow it too much bigger than this. We will need to, obviously add in perhaps another layer of floors and so forth, but keeping the main oxygen within this area, this is going to keep us comfortably here for at least the next probably 30-40 cycles. Right, done. We finished with research. So let's pause it there, hitting the space bar. We're going to go to the actual research tree as well. Next thing we want to do, there's a couple of probably important ones that we want to jump in. So we want to do jobs, and we also want to look at the jumbo battery, just to get rid of the other battery, keeping in with a bit of internal combustion there. This will also help us with the advanced research, which we'll need once we go into the third column here. But we're safe just on all of these, just using the basic research. The thing with the advanced research, it also uses water. So this you need to cool it down through water, but we're going to go with jobs, and that will allow us to start creating jobs. But we now have food, so we can go with our farm tiles. Placing our farm tiles down there. Okay, first one's done. We want to do a millwood seed. Millwood seed uses oxygen-polluted oxygen carbon dioxide, uses dirt and a farming plot. It does not require water, so it's probably the first thing that you'll grow. The next one we'll look at is the blossom seed. So the blossom seed does require water. And we'll put that in something else. So it does require water, but it also has a bonus. You need to actually put light on it as well to grow it as well. So in this case here, we're just doing the millwood. So as a bit of a safety factor, one thing you may want to build now that you can is a microbe musher. Just as a safety backup. The microbe musher allows you to produce very poor qualities of food, only required if you sort of your management gets out of hand a little bit and you run out of food. The problem with it is the microbe musher produces food like mush bars, and mush bars themselves produce diarrhea, which means that they very quickly start to overfill your toilet, and it starts to get a little bit messy. Now you can see some of the polluted oxygen coming up because we've cleaned out our toilet. We usually get maybe 3 cycles, 4 cycles. So what we've built over here is just, we've got a cupboard, and we've also got our compost. So the compost itself is going to take the polluted dirt and convert it into, or break it down into dirt. So it just sort of cleans it up a bit. So the polluted dirt we're getting from obviously the toilet. We threw that over here. Do have polluted water now. So polluted water, we should be able to now. There we go. So this is actually going to collect all our polluted water. We can click on the polluted water now, and this will dump our polluted water that's coming from our algae terrarium into this area here. All right, we finished our research. Next thing we want to do is quickly check the research tree. We're now going to do done job boards. We're going to go internal combustion and power regulation. So we get up there, but we're going to go add our job board. So stations, job board, doesn't require power. Jobs. Okay. Let's throw it in there. Okay, open up your jobs. A couple of ways to do it. You can either click on the job that you actually want, and then you can see who's got the highest attributes for it. So in this case here, Max has already got 2 digging. However, May has a relevant interest, so 1 digging and a relevant interest. The other ones you've got is Gopher. The other way you can do it is you can slide down and do it the opposite way. So you can picking on the person, you can see what their interest is. So you can see what they have the interest in, and also what they've got the highest skill level is. A couple of things that I would probably suggest to sort of start off with is obviously the mining's a good one, that you do need someone that's has the mining. So we're going to do Max on the mining. The second one is the actual gophers themselves. So Max is already there, but with a gopher you get +2 to strength and +400 to carrying capacity. The other one that you do want to start training people in is scientist or research assistant, and what that will do is that will start actually giving +2 to learning. So we're going to, this chart, the gopher and the assistant, will also move them down to be an astronaut, which is where we need to get to for when we start doing our astronaut training and start sending our dupes off the asteroid. So we're going to do one here. It's not going to be Max, it's going to be May. And research assistants, oh no, research assistant's going to be May. And Hassan is going to be our gopher. Let them throw their hats on. We're all super happy. Max the miner. May with a tinfoil hat, scientist. And Hassan as the gopher. But clearly wanted to be a scientist. Now that we've got the mining in there, it does mean that we can start getting rid of some of these tougher rocks. So we're just taking a bit of breathing at the moment while we're doing a bit of a clean up. As we come into cycle 10, the next thing that we're going to do as we move past cycle 10 is to start building our mess hall, which requires mess table and no industrial machinery. A grill is not classified as industrial machinery, so we can put the grill in there and it does not affect the mess hall, as well as the fridge does not affect the mess hall as well. That's it for the evening. Heading to bed, that's 10 cycles. Okay. Pausing it there, thank you very much. We just missed out on putting the battery in there, probably was a little bit slow. And that was a good clean 10 cycles. There was no vomiting, there was no urination, no one dropped anything into the water, plenty of food still there and we've got in there. So just to recap, we built the outhouses. We've got the water and we tapped into the water so we can comfortably get into the water without having a problem. If you're still a little bit concerned about your water and possibility, what you can do is just put yourself a little bit of a block like that, and that will protect if you were to sort of drop water or pipes burst or things happen. Then it's not going to go in here and totally contaminate your water source, which you don't want to do. We've built our beds and we've got one spare. We've now got a place to drop our polluted water. Our polluted dirt from our toilets we've got over here. We're starting our first lot of crops and food, and we've sort of seen. So we've got natural gas, and we've got a cold steam water vent that we'll be able to tap into here. So I think that's a good first 10 cycles. So thank you very much. I hope you actually enjoyed it. I hope there was some things there that actually helped. I've got a couple of ideas for, and I will just do straight tutorials. I'll spit it out. Tutorials. Do some tutorials on some certain elements. People have certainly asked for things we're going through. But don't forget to hit the likes, don't forget to hit the subscribe if you'd like to see more of Oxygen is Not Included, or any other videos that it'll do. If there are any specific areas that you'd like me to focus on, please just write them in the comments below. I will be doing O&I over the next couple of weeks and months. I am streaming it currently now, so as people give me ideas, I will work on doing those videos as well. So thank you, have fun, enjoy the game, and we will see you next time.